This is Lord Thaddeus Cray, and this is going to be a movie review. The movie is Mimic. Now, where to start about this movie is a damn good one. If you haven't seen it, I'd advise you to definitely waste an hour and a half to a couple hours of your life and definitely sit down and take a look at it. What's it about? That is where it gets interesting. The premise is simple. If I remember right, a disease which is being spread by cockroaches is killing children. And the scientists, if I remember right, there are a couple, come up with an idea to genetically engineer an insect that will get rid of the cockroaches, and therefore, of course, eliminate the virus or the disease which is killing off children. It works quite well. Unfortunately, in the process of these insects being very successful in killing off roaches, they find a way to override. There's a sequence set in each insect. They're called the Judas breed, for them to die off after a certain period of time. Yeah, they override that, and they evolve to become very large and very intelligent predatory insects, monsters, basically. These things do not spare any expense when it comes to feeding their hive and getting the prey they need to. They're very good at mimicking people, and what they do with that skill is obvious. They get in close, they snatch you up, and you become dinner. They are extremely intelligent. These bugs are very, very smart. They adapt to almost any environment, and they seem to thrive, especially in urban areas and underground. There is actually a trilogy of movies. The first one was actually pretty well received, if I remember correctly, in theaters. The other two were direct-to-video at the time. Were those movies as good as the first? No. But were they bad? Far from it. They're actually pretty daggone good. Just leave it at that. These insects are extremely carnivorous. They are extremely hypervigilant. They are also able to mimic us to a terrifying degree. Let's leave it at this. These things, how can I say this nicely? You don't see them until it's too late. And believe me, when it's too late, you go down the hatch. That's all I'm going to say about that. The first movie is actually very well played. It also delves into the long-term consequences of what happens when you mess around with things you shouldn't, mainly genetic tinkering and engineering. To say the least, the idea which was brought by the movie is extremely well done. And I say this many times, as I have in the past. Almost all fiction is based on some sort of fact. So you have to kind of take, well, what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I do firmly believe, again, this movie, while it's very good, all three movies, they are a way for Hollywood to definitely kind of get us used to things they're probably experimenting with, or maybe something else entirely. It is possible that there might actually be a type of insect or creature that is actually this big. Now, it would definitely take a very oxygen-rich environment, because insects normally do not breathe like we do. They don't have lungs. But let's just leave it at this. Spoiler alert. These insects do. So that allows them to grow into monstrous size. So again, is it possible that something like this in real life has adapted to that type of environment to actually get that large? You never know. I mean, think about it. Most people don't understand about certain types of fish, for example. The lungfish. I mean, hell, there are certain types of frogs. Pretty much, you separate their genders, one gender can actually become another. And, of course, what do you have? You have reproducing frogs, or toads, or whatever it is. You have to really be aware that nature finds a way. And such to say, I do believe very firmly that there is possibly some type of... I mean, hell, look at the Mongolian death worm. You never know what kind of cryptid could be out there that is definitely a large insectoid type creature or monster. So, I'm just saying, take these movies with a grain of salt. It's a good sci-fi / horror trilogy. Like I said, it's something definitely to enjoy when you're bored one late night or whatever. But again, definitely sit down, and I would recommend you guys definitely watching Mimic. It is a very, very fun romp with horror and definitely a few jump scares, and like I said, nobody gets spared, not even children. So needless to say, if you want a chance for some good scares and entertainment, sit down and watch Mimic all the way from 1 to 3. You guys already know what I do. I'm the producer for Chasing the Truth, Dogman Cams, and the Vault of Nightmares. If you guys have had a cryptid encounter or some sort of supernatural affair, hit me up at westvic@dogmancams.com or leave something in the comments. You guys know how to reach me. You guys be blessed, and y'all be safe.